We are here with Gregg Cohen, founder of JWB. How you doing, Greg?
What's going on, my friend? Nice to see you.
It's good to see you too, man. This is I think going to be a really, really fun conversation with us.
I think it's gonna be really stiff and not too personal. I know I'm
I agree. Just spoiler alert, I'm not a fan at all.
No.
Right. Yeah. So, Greg, tell me kind of what you are up to these days, right? Like, tell me what JWB is right now, what your role is, what you're doing right now.
I'm fresh out of planning my goals for 2020. I just wrote that, so I'm gonna be like, I'm normally like really fired up. I'm like extra fired up right now.
I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm just really, I'm at a really great spot of being, happy, focused, blessed, seeing the success that we've had at JWB over these years, but just thinking like now, man, it's like you have certain elements that you have figured out and all this good stuff, but man, I just think right now, this is just like the perfect time for us as a company, for me personally, to do some really great things with the platform that we have and to serve the clients that we have and the thousands of people that kind of rely on us to make decisions just to do really, really well
Awesome.
by them.
Cool.
And yeah, personally, family's great. I mean, I'm a little bit positive. I hope that's okay with you.
That's yeah. I'm usually okay with that. So, JWB right now has how many employees?
We have a little over 80. I think we're
Over
at
80.
81 right now.
I was at your Tuesday morning meeting, which we're going to talk about later, but it seems like you have 45 departments. Like what? What
Yeah,
are the?
I don't know how that happened. Like,
Yeah.
I went to bed one night and I woke up and there's 13 different business units there. But yeah, I mean it's been quite a journey. We were just kind of reminiscing before we were on camera about what we were doing in 2006 and the decisions that we made in 2006 and 2007 and some of the funny, crazy, stupid ideas that we had in the early days. And now it's I think the most satisfying thing is when we make a really good decision now, the impact that we have is just exponential, and it's a really cool platform.
Okay, so let's reminisce on camera. How did this start? How did it all start? Bring me back to the origin story.
I think like most great things in life, it started at a pretty painful spot.
Yeah.
For me. So when I was in college at the University of Florida, I was this guy who I just knew at that point that corporate America was going to be the path for me. Mm-hmm. And I worked hard to get an internship and to get that job. And I just remember the feeling of kind of like excitement, but also like pride in that. And just, I sort of had this idea of like my success wrapped up in getting that job in corporate America. And so that's what actually brought me to Jacksonville. Worked there for a year and a half and was just utterly depressed by the time, my end came there. And I remember waking up every day and just wishing that the next 9 hours would just be done. And when you do that, at some point you just stop and you think to yourself, what the hell am I doing, right?
Yeah.
That's not a way to live your life. And I remember looking at other people and where I would work and seeing the people who were the most accomplished, and I just didn't see joy, excitement on their face. And so it was really a depressing time for me. I had a terrible manager at that point, and now I'm so thankful because I saw all of that, and that really is what inspired me to do something that was completely unconventional, that scared the hell out of my friends and family and parents at that time, and to leave that job and to go out and follow a dream of really like a late night infomercial dream, right? Like we started to learn about real estate, we started to learn about the way of doing this as a business, and found some mentors and really put our faith into following that type of a methodology within real estate and building this business. And so, my business partner Alex Fox was with me in the beginning. He gave me really the nudge to actually quit that job that I had and to go full force into this, and grabbed another business partner about 6 months in, Adam Regal, and grabbed another one in 2010. So the four of us have just had this incredible journey. The fourth one being Adam Eisman. I don't want to leave him out here. So. So we're sort of a four-headed monster now that get the pleasure of kind of leading this company.
You guys are a four-headed monster, and it's a remarkable four-headed monster that I want to definitely dive into, because I think you don't often see. I mean, you saw the Miami Heat try to have 3 alpha guys, and it didn't really, really work, right? Like
Sure.
you guys are 4 guys that could all run your own company, and yet you have this partnership that that just functions really, really, really well. But first, I want to ask you, what was the original vision for this? Like, what was the...
Not what you see.
I imagine. What...
You know, it was Alex and I in the very beginning, and I remember like trying to communicate what my vision was to my mom back in the day. She's just scared about, her son just throwing this great job away that she had, and being scared for me. And I was like, well, Mom, there's a lot of real estate out there. I know how to spot an opportunity, and I've got my business partner who I trust more than anybody. She knows Alex from when we were in high school together. Yeah. And I'm like, we're gonna be riding around, and we're gonna find real estate deals, and then we're gonna figure out how to make money on them. We're gonna sell them. I mean, Mom, that's what we're gonna do. So instantly her fear level rose to like ultra high. Yeah. But in the beginning, we knew that we had something that we could do well with. We knew that Alex and I were the type of people that were going to make it happen. But we didn't realize have the understanding of how important a team was in the very beginning, and not just from like accomplishing things, but from an enjoyment perspective. It became this really fulfilling thing for us to be able to bring 80 some odd people into our organization now, and literally the hundreds of other folks that are kind of a part of our business, whether it's Whitney Ritchie or Rich that we just interviewed, or the thousands of residents and contractors. So you get to bring all these people together, and they're people that you actually enjoy being around.
Yeah. You're speaking my language, man. I'm somebody that's fond of human connection, as you may or may not know.
Fun to be around.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that was something that we didn't plan on in the beginning, but as we sort of understood that was going to be such a big part of what we were doing, that's where Adam Riegel, my other business partner, Adam Eisman, came into play, and have just had such an instrumental impact on growing our team to what it is today, and really accomplishing this vision that has changed over the years.
Was there like a seminal moment where your focus went towards going from being a real estate minded, I'm going to find deals and flip it, to being I'm going to find people and work with them? Was there like something that when that started to come into focus?
Yeah, definitely. So, we started in 2006, and the market was on fire in 2006. And so we thought we were pretty good because we made a little bit of money, and, everybody thought they were good if you were in real estate in 2006. Yeah. And then we were dealt a harsh dose of reality in 2007, 2008, 2009. And I remember sitting down with the guys, and we're like, all right, well, this is where we're at as an economy, as a real estate market. Prices are falling. Luckily we invested a lot in rental properties at that time, and had that long-term vision. So that wasn't so much of a concern, but everything else we were doing at that time was a real concern. At that point we were also flipping houses and had to take big losses. And so when you're losing money as a business in the short run, the first thing you think of is, how am I going to cut expenses? And we had employees at that time. And we said, well, employees are typically a huge component of your expenses. And we said, well, is that the route that we're going to take? And then we stepped back and we said, okay, well, what do we know? What do we believe in real estate? That real estate is cyclical, that this is a moment in time, that things are going to come back, right? That cycles tend to repeat themselves every 10 or 20 years. And we said, if we really believe that, then this would be the time to invest more in people, to invest more in systems.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That was a big risk, man. I mean, back in the day, everybody was running from the hills if you were in real estate in 2008. Yeah. And the president was on, talking about how we're in this world economic disaster. I mean, I remember Alex, my business partner Alex, it was so bad. Now, he's a notorious speeder when he's driving, right? I will not get in the car with him, by the way. He's just... And so he's driving. It's 2008. He gets pulled over by a police officer. Police officer asks him what he does for a living. He says he's in real estate, and the guy lets him off the ticket because he was in real estate. That's how bad people felt, for those of us that were in real estate. So, but we looked at that and we said, this is the moment. We were young, right? Making money in the short run didn't matter nearly as much to us. It's never been a huge priority for us. And we said, well, this is an opportunity. And if we can do this the right way and invest in our people, invest in our systems, when the market does come back 10 years later, we are going to be light years ahead of everybody else. And, we're blessed that that's really the way it's worked out.
Interesting. So. Really cool. So was that the first core value? Was that the first time that like core values came into the conversation? Maybe not the word core values, but is that kind of how that started?
I mean, the values that I have with my business partners and I have always sort of been, intrinsic. Empower people to fail forward and make mistakes is one that, it's just kind of who we are, right?
Yeah.
Under promise and over deliver is another core value that I love. I mean, that's just kind of who we are. So, quite honestly though, at that time, shit was hitting the fan, right?
Yeah.
We were trying to survive. We were trying to do our strategy the best we could. So I don't know if we had it all defined and like on a nice wall, with what our core values were at that point.
Yeah.
But the core values have always just been organic and natural and kind of not just who we are, but who our team is. And so those core values guided us even if we hadn't officially defined them, back in the day.
It's interesting, man, because I think you can really, I have this theory that you can save an extra $100 a month, and in 10 years you have a couple $1,000, and you can also blow all that in one night in Vegas, right? So I think you get a sense of people for when their backs are against the wall and how much they're able to limit the downside. And when you guys are in this, I mean, I was around for 2009. I was in construction for subcontractor for building, track building homes, Pulte's and Lennars of the world. The world ended.
Yeah.
Right? The world ended.
Everybody ran for the hills.
All these contracts that we had that were all set for the next 3-4 years, they were just like, cool, we're just not building anything for the next 3-4 years.
Yep.
And everybody had to redefine themselves, right? So the fact that you guys dive in when you are, backs against the walls, you decide, okay, well, this is the time to invest in people. It's some real, like, Warren Buffett shit.
I mean, it was. Yeah. We've had a lot of crazy ideas. I will say. I'm glad that one really worked out.
Yeah,
well.
for sure. So when did you guys? And I want to bring this back to core values because I want to talk about the eye-opening experience for me that was to be a part of your Tuesday morning meetings. When did you guys put those things on paper? Right, like it seems like it's guided you forever intrinsically. But when did you put that on paper and really make that a focus?
The Tuesday morning meeting for us has always been a part of our organization, even when it was Alex and Adam and myself, and we had maybe 3 employees, and Adam Eisman came on board in 2010. I mean, ever since those days, we've done a Tuesday morning meeting. Now, it has evolved tremendously since back in the day. In the beginning, like the Tuesday morning meeting for us was like, it was like firing squad, right? Like we're really big on accountability, and we're really big on a lack of ego too. So like for the 4 of us, like it doesn't matter to me if they call me out. Like that's great. I expect it. I thrive on it, right? Yeah. Well, we realized that necessarily wouldn't be the way that other people might handle that, but it took us a little while to understand that. So the Tuesday morning meeting for us, it started off like this. So the normal workday starts at 8:30 now, right? Mm-hmm. You came to the Tuesday morning meeting, it started at 8:30.
Yep.
Well, we would make people start the Tuesday morning meeting at 7:30. Mm-hmm. So right off the bat, everybody was bound to hate it, right? Yeah. But we forced everybody, and our team has been awesome all along the way. So we came in an hour early. And then it would literally be like you were standing up and you were talking about what your metrics were supposed to be that week, that month, and if you're on pace for the year. Mm-hmm. And you literally stood up and took shots from other people, and it might be 5 or 10, 15 people in the company about why you're doing well, why you're not, all that good stuff. So it really bred accountability. It was not the best use of our time, and it was not the best use of a cohesive, like positive environment, just because when you have getting 15 people ragging on you on a weekly basis, probably not good. So, but we've evolved from there, right?
Sounds like pledging a fraternity.
It was literally like, yes, there were elements of that. I will grant you that. But one of the really cool things that we did is we always have really believed in the power of education. Mm-hmm. And so we thought that the Tuesday morning meeting would be a great opportunity to kind of reinforce that and learn. And so we would challenge ourselves to read a book every month, and then we would present in the Tuesday morning meeting.
Awesome.
It was book reports. I went to Toastmasters and did the Toastmasters thing, and then that's where that came from. So we did book reports, and now that meant that I needed to read a book every month and then present every month, and we would do that. We did that all the way up until we had probably 70 employees. And so it became this really cool part of who we were.
The 4 of you would present a book each month?
All of the teammates.
Wow.
All of the teammates. So then it became like, the only problem with it is we had like 70 employees at that time. So like it lost its luster because you'd have to wait like over a year to do it. And so we find other ways to do those same types of skills and that type of experience to be able to speak in front of the team now. But the TMM originally had the book report component of it, which was awesome. And then now, it's just evolved into this really wonderful kind of production for us, right? If you have how many 80-person meetings have you planned, right? It's hard.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, a couple, but 0 of them have had 100% engagement like those
there you go,
Tuesday
right?
morning meetings.
It's tough to get engagement, right?
Yeah.
So we take, an hour of the company's time every Tuesday to get everybody on the same page, to make sure everybody understands the mission, the vision that we have, how their role plays a part in it. One of the cool things that we do, did you pick up on the core value call-outs that we do?
Yeah.
How cool was that?
That to me, that's why I keep coming to this core values, because I just see it, you were originally talking about it as this like negative reinforcement, but like I see this, people get up and, you have these announcements, everybody's on the same page about people's lives, and then everybody comes up and reinforces the core values by complimenting somebody else for upholding the core value.
Yeah.
And I think it's genius because and now that I've been to 2, it's pretty clear to me to see who has a plan for who wants to get ahead in this company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I see that there's certain people that get up, and it's like, if you want to strategically be known for something, you're going to be strategically be known for, because that's the opportunity to speak in front of the whole company.
Absolutely.
You're going to strategically be known for upholding the values and for finding something good in somebody else.
Exactly.
And that's just, it blew my mind, man.
Exactly.
Like, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And then I now sense like, the one thing that's still there is the accountability piece. You end on the accountability piece.
You saw that at the end, right?
Yeah, and that's like the relic of the original one.
So that's how we've evolved over time. So at the end of the Tuesday morning meeting now, a representative from each department gets up, and it's a 5-minute thing. We talk about how many houses we were supposed to release from new construction to come to the market, how many houses we were supposed to sell, how many homes we were supposed to rent, and you talk about what you said you were going to do, what are you going to do, and then, and so we've kept that element.
Super impressive. I mean, the moment I sat down at that thing, I was just like, I want to come every Tuesday. So tell me, all right. So now let's talk about the partnership. So now you've developed this macro cohesive strategy. Can you tell me kind of how you started pulling in the atoms?
Yeah. So the one was less strategic and one was incredibly strategic. Okay. So Adam Riegel joined us about 6 months in, and at that point Alex and I had a little bit of success, and the real credit for all of this goes to my wife, I will tell you, because
as all credits do.
Right, as all credits do, especially in this case. So
who's also named Alex.
Who's also named Alex.
Got it. So 2 Alexes, 2 Adams. It's going to get confusing.
There you go, right? Yeah. So my wife, Alex, we're about probably 4 months into the business, and she goes, Greg, you and your business partner, Alex, you guys are having some success. You guys are young. It's probably a really cool story. You should call up the newspaper and see if they'll write a story about you. And I'm like, babe, that's a dumb idea. Like, why would anybody want to write an article about us? Like, nobody's going to want to do that. So, like, most great things that my wife says, I said that, and then I thought about it a little bit, and then I realized it was probably a good idea. So then I picked up the phone, and I called the Florida Times-Union, and it's not like they were waiting to receive my call, right? I called them, I left them a voicemail. I'm like, hey, I'm Greg. I've got this company. We're 2 UF graduates, and we're successful, and I thought you'd be great. We're in real estate. I thought it'd be great that you guys want to write an article about us. And not expecting anything, and sort of halfway like hoping that it didn't work just so I could be right with my wife. But lo and behold, my wife's right. So the guy calls me back after literally a voicemail, and he's like, yeah, I'd love to write an article about you. So the way this relates to everything else in my business partners is that article comes out. Adam Riegel, at this point, had just been at a career fair and did not find anything that he wanted for a career at the career fair. So he was looking for an opportunity. His mom reads this article that's in the Florida Times-Union, puts it down on the kitchen table. He happens to be there, and he's from the University of Florida as well. Yeah. And so he sees us, he reads the article, he's an entrepreneur at heart, loves real estate, and so he then, now it was pre-Facebook, it was like when we had a web presence you could find us. He had to track us down, took us to lunch, convinced us that we were going to hire him at first, even though we had no money, and so that was how we got Adam Riegel on board.
I just have to say that's on a macro level. That's that is the power of content, right? That's kind of what we're doing right now and making all this kind of content stuff because it has these externalities that you never know.
You can't make that up, right?
That's fascinating. Yeah. Like that's
like
my
the
mind's
world
blowing right
works
now.
in mysterious ways, and we're the benefit of it.
Excellent, cool. And then
Adam Eisman. So that was a very strategic hire
Okay.
and path to being a business partner for us. So Adam's just this incredible talent. He used to run the ticket office for the Houston Astros. And so he had been best friends with Adam Riegel
Okay.
in college. They worked
Okay.
together. And so Adam Riegel always knew Adam Eisman was this incredible talent. And so we had we had all gotten to know each other and became friendly and all that good stuff. But Adam was focused on his career with the Astros and lived in Houston, and it was a far-fetched to get him over here.
Yeah.
But like, when Adam Riegel finds something that he wants to accomplish, or if it's a person that he wants to bring onto our team, and you've heard how we've been able to work with Whitney Ritchie and Rich Neal and all these folks, right? He's going to make it happen. So his strategy is that he just starts sending books to you. So if you ever get a book from Adam Riegel, it's because he's eventually going to hire you. And that's what he did with Adam Eisman. He just kept him in the loop. It was a year's process. The funniest thing is that eventually Adam Eisman, decided that the Astros thing was kind of burning him out, and he wanted something with a little bit more fulfillment, and his wife is from Jacksonville and all that good stuff. And so it became an opportunity that he was considering. And so Adam Riegel and Adam Eisman, we flew Eisman in, and we gave him the pitch to join our team. It was a much different team than you see now. It was 2010, so things were not nearly as rosy.
Sure.
Adam Eisman actually said no. So the story goes, though, that he was about to go out of town. He was going on an international trip, and he called Adam Riegel, his best friend, to say, hey, thank you for the opportunity, but I'm going to pass. Mm-hmm. The story is that Adam Riegel never got the voicemail or just didn't pay any attention to it. So Adam Riegel just doesn't pay any attention to it, calls him back, and is like, hey, buddy, we're ready for you to join. And Adam Eisman's like, I don't understand. I told you no. Not even a blip on Adam Riegel's radar. He's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. So we continued the full court pressure, and then Adam Eisman joined our team in 2010, and since has become a business partner for us, and really just leads our operations, and that's the four-headed monster right there.
Awesome. And we're going to get to know these guys a lot better in each interview, but I kind of want to hear from you, like, what's each of yours superpower that makes you unique to what your role is and what you've been able to accomplish?
Yeah, I think it's like a brotherhood, in your family, right? You sort of find where you're most needed, and where maybe your skills and strengths don't need to, you don't need to be the best at everything, right? You each play a part, and I think over the 14 years that we've been doing this, we've all figured out sort of where our strengths are and where our part is. The easiest one is Alex. Alex is the guy who's thinking 3 to 5 to 10 years down the road. He's the visionary part of it. And he's also the one that's the biggest hurricane as well. We try to keep him as far away from the office as possible because he tends to create destruction in the actual business. But no, I mean, a lot of really great ideas that Alex has guided us, and that's why we've been able to be a few steps ahead in our business. So that's really Alex's role. Adam Eisman is really the operations part of this. Okay. So a lot of the business units within JWB roll up under Adam Eisman's direction. He's an incredible leader there. Adam Riegel is equal parts operations, but he handles all of our financials. So the CFO role he's really strong there. And then from an HR perspective, he's had just an incredible influence on bringing talent in.
Really?
And doing it the right way.
Okay.
So our culture, I think we all play a huge part in the culture, but the driver of the culture has really been Adam Riegel on the HR side. Okay. I'm just along for the ride.
You're just along. All right, well, I'm going to talk about you, man. How does such a nice guy become such a good leader, right? Like,
we haven't been hanging out long enough.
I don't know, man. Every interaction I've had with you has been very positive. I've seen you now in multiple rooms. It's always a positive feedback. The way that you ingest information and give it back, it's in a really feel-good way. Like, is that a deliberate? Have you always had that ingrained, or is that like something that you have developed that that works for you?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer to that. Okay. I think I was really raised very, very well. And I think I was raised in a way that, short-term success or, like, making money in the short run was never the most important thing. I remember playing baseball back in the day, it was not like, did you hit a home run, Greg? It was like, hey, how did you help your team, right? What did you say to that person who was struggling or whatever? So, I think that's always been a really big part of kind of who I am, is making sure that, it's not about the success here and now. It's about that relationship that you have and making sure that you can be a positive influence on people. So credit goes to my mom.
All right. Mama Cohen. where do you see JWB in 10 years?
You know, I'm so excited that we have been in business for 14 years, right?
Yeah.
That, you know, it's really a struggle in the beginning to build a business that lasts 2 years, to build a business that lasts 5 years. And you throw on the fact that we started in such a turbulent time in real estate. I mean, everybody was running from the hills. So I take a lot of pride in our ability to do that. To grow a four-headed decision-making body for an organization is really unique.
Yeah.
So, you know, those are the things that I'm most proud of. Those are the things that I know that our partnership, that our kind of core way that we do business is going to be the same 10 years from now, and I'm super excited about that. At the same time, you know, we are always focused on creating this kind of category for folks to be able to invest in that they might not already have, right? This ability to create a consistent asset class and to do it in a way that, you know, quite frankly, you can't normally do in the normal real estate space. And we take you know, strategic steps maybe outside what our core business is today to make sure that we're going to be able to produce that in 3 years or 5 years, right? So examples of this have been like new construction properties, right? We started building them in 2011. We didn't know exactly that could be done. We were the pioneer to do it in across the country. But now, over 75% of our inventory is that way, and that's why our clients don't have to worry about having an asset to be able to invest in for years to come. You know, you're seeing us take strides in downtown Jacksonville right now. Yeah. We think there's a huge opportunity to be a major player and a major force in the revitalization of downtown. So our core business is why we're here. It's our hedgehog. It's what we are built to do. But and this goes back to Alex's role, right? We're always trying to be a few steps ahead. And the reason that we have to do that, whereas maybe other companies don't, is because we're firmly committed to Jacksonville. We're not that type of organization who has success here and then inventory gets tough, so you go to this market, this market, this market. No, our impact is here. And so we have to be a few steps ahead. So where are we going to be in 10 years? I think our core business is going to be the same. I think you're going to see, you know, a few but a few strategic maybe steps just a little bit to the side, just to make sure that we can be a few steps ahead and create those same types of assets for clients to be able to invest in. And I think we're going to be a huge force in downtown.
So you're tied to Jacksonville. You're going to be here in 10 years. Where do you see Jacksonville going? As far as Jacksonville in the last 14 years that you've been in business to now, profoundly different, right? Like, can you speak through that and kind of where you think what the potential of Jacksonville is as a city?
When I first moved here in 2005, the concept that people would actually go downtown and hang out or go to dinner or go to a show, you just never did that, right? And now, in 2020, you do that.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, right? We got a lot of young people that are moving downtown.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. Springfield's doing great, you know, Riverside, Avondale. I mean, you've got these neighborhoods that are around downtown that are attracting really great populations. So we've come a long way. But the reality, and you know this too, the reality is that we've got this incredible city here. We're on a river, right? Yeah. We have this incredible, atmosphere, right? The weather here is amazing, right? We're on a beach, right? Do you like the beach? Right? You've got all of these things. We got 3 Fortune 500 companies that are here. It is incredible that downtown Jacksonville has not realized its full potential as we sit here today. So I think over the next 5 to 10 years, there's so much activity that's going on right now that is going to be a huge impact on where we see Jacksonville in the next few years. And I think the next 10 years, you look at some of these other cities that have really nailed their downtowns, like Charlotte comes to mind, Denver comes to mind. Mm-hmm. We have leaders in our community that are learning and implementing those types of a thing. And the natural assets that we have compared to some of these other cities are so much better. Yeah. Right? So I really think in 10 years, you're going to look at Jacksonville's downtown similar to the success that you see in a Charlotte and a Denver and some of these other cities.
I totally agree, man. Since the moment I moved here, I've been telling people that they don't realize how similar Jacksonville is to Southern California in the climate, in the natural wonder, in the road trips that you can take, right? So an urbanization of an urban core that could bring, this kind of vitalization in a strategic way, I think the sky's the limit, man.
San Diego is a great example there too.
Yeah.
The gas lamp district in San Diego was not anything back in the day. Correct. And now it's this wonderful place next to the ballpark down there, next to their convention center, and it's this huge boon for their economy. So part of the reason that we're so focused on it is because it's going to have a great impact for Jacksonville, for its residents, but it's going to be a great thing for investors.
Yep.
In our neighborhoods
Yep.
that we invest in with our own money, that we help clients invest in, they're all right around downtown Jacksonville, and so it'll be certainly a great thing for those folks.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm pumped to see where you and your quadriumvirate, or however you call it, of leadership is going to take this thing, and to be part of any of it. Gregg, I want to acknowledge you for being this positive influence, man. Like, you really do come into a room and it's you're a calming and you're like a nourishing influence in a conversation. And this has been a pleasure, and I'm really pumped to see where this is all going to go, man. I appreciate talking to you.
Thank you, man.
All right.